Okay, so we're going to talk about the circle of life. We'll talk about it from a chemical perspective, not the Lion King or anything else. So here's the chemical process. So talking about how carbon, hydrogen, oxygen from sugar molecules combine with other elements to form all of you. So how did you become you? Now, from these simple ingredients, so this is basically you. If we look at these chemicals, you're basically mostly oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, and carbon. These things, and you're 99% of those things with calcium and phosphorus and a little sulfur, potassium, sodium, chlorine, and magnesium. You're basically a pile of chemical salts. How is it possible that you became you given this? Now, to be fair, you didn't actually start that way. You should look like that. You'd just be a pile of stuff. Or like a really bad smoothie if you put water in it. But otherwise, you would be weird. You started like this. You were a cell that added other cells to it. So you didn't start as a pile of chemicals. If you did, you would just be dead. You would just be a pile of chemicals. But you came in as a living creature and you added living creatures. And we still, let's be fair, we can clone things, but we can't give life to stuff yet. Okay, we just can't. And so the idea is this is an incredibly complicated process and it somehow happens. So, in order to keep you alive, you need to cram these things into everything. So, your body is a machine for taking all of these fats, proteins, carbohydrates, and sugars and dumps it. And this is just sugar. It's a bunch of oxygen. There's hydrogen, there's oxygen, there's carbon. And it takes those and it makes everything in your body. This is how it does it. This is the simplified version of how your body takes these things. You are the world's best Lego block, Roblox, Minecraft, forget it. You are the masterpiece. Your body does everything with these very simple components and it makes these incredibly complicated things and we're just still figuring out what all these things do. So to make it all work, so you have a lot of specialized enzymes. So basically, if you look at this enzyme, it is basically a bunch of carbon, oxygen, hydrogen twisted around itself, and it works really well. It's like creating a dinosaur out of nothing on Minecraft, and you've created something that actually functions on every level. So 6 million times, 100,000 times a second, this enzyme will do its job. So this thing is incredibly, incredibly fast and incredibly good at what it does, and it's been perfected over generations. Something simple, churn converting carbohydrates to proteins. You have a thing called the Krebs cycle. You just go boom, 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 boom. You take all your carbohydrates, runs it down. You can add nitrogen, make proteins. There are a few proteins that you need to have. There's a few fats you need to have. And if you don't get them, they're your essential fatty acids. They're your essential proteins. And if you don't have them, your body will try to fake it as far long as it can, but it can't actually keep it going. You need to have them. But short of that, if you think about it, it's a pretty short list. Your body can do everything else. So you need some little drivers. So like vitamin C, if you don't get vitamin C, you get scurvy. We are one of the few primates that don't create our own vitamin C out of our liver. So we'll get scurvy. Our teeth will fall out. You'll get bruised. Your connective tissue falls apart if you don't eat enough vitamin C. Interesting stuff. And the other vitamins and nutrients. But for the most part, we don't need many of them. We just need some. And your body will do a great job at recycling. It doesn't just affect you, your food, what you eat doesn't just affect the sequence of your DNA. Your diet has a profound effect on how you express your DNA. So if anybody who's talking to me about genetics versus genetics, you are a simple creature. You are simpler than a banana. But epigenetics, how your body manifests itself, is actually incredibly complicated. And your epigenetics are profoundly affected by what you eat. So you can actually do some stuff. So you can actually affect not just yourself, but generations after yourself. If you reproduce, generations after yourself will also be altered by your choices. There are more chemicals in you than we'd like to think. There are a number of, remember, I just showed you there's a short line of things that we need, and there's a bunch of chemicals that you've been eating that aren't really stuff that should be in there. And there's a ton of that. And that's changing us in ways we can't predict. And your body makes toxic chemicals on its own. Please watch that on the slideshow. And your colorful DNA becomes you. So your DNA is awesome. Thank you for coming.